As part of today's expert talk, we're going to be talking about the changes in legislation affecting permanent baiting with rodenticide in Ireland. Hi Colm, how are you?
Hey Rich.
We're going to talk today about the changes in legislation with permanent baiting within Ireland. Can you tell me about how it's changed?
So there's been a few changes. The main focus is around the environment and protecting the environment so that we don't sort of release residues of rodenticide to non-targets. Mm-hmm. That's the main drive for it. Then what it involves is two main things. One is rules around permanent baiting, so the use of toxic rodenticide, leaving it down permanently, and also then the professional status of those that actually apply the rodenticide in the first place.
Right, so in order to apply rodenticide now, we have to be professional. How would we go about that? How would you become professional?
Okay, so first things first is you have to apply to the Department of Agriculture. You have to register yourself to gain a PMU number, which is a Pest Management User Number. In order then you get a temporary number initially, then you go through your training period. You've got to have field training, and that's also backed up with in-class training as well. And the classroom training is effectively a Lantra award. It's an Lantra accredited course, and it gives you the award in pest management services. It's a level 3 award.
So you have to pass exams and stuff like that.
You have to pass that then to get your permanent PMU number.
Very good.
Yeah. And then, of course, once you get your permanent PMU number, mm-hmm. you have to maintain that. You can't. It's a use it or lose it sort of scenario. Right. So you need to constantly gain continual professional education throughout the year to maintain your points and your status as a professional.
Right, very good. So in order to permanent bait, we have to have this PMU number, be professional. What else have we got to do in order to permanently bait with a toxic rodenticide?
Well, you need to justify it's permanent baiting isn't the norm anymore. It's the exception rather than the norm. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you need to have in place on a site in order that you could justify doing that method. First of all, you have to have the risk of reinvasion of the animal is very, very high. Mm-hmm. That's both internally and externally. The other thing is they must be posing a risk to animal or human health. And once those criteria are met, and you've attempted or considered alternatives if they're suitable to that particular site, then if all else fails, then you can permanently bait. But with only certain products as well. You can't just permanently bait with any product. There are restrictions around that.
What sort of restrictions are there with putting the bait down? Are there time periods and stuff like that, or how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So if you're putting down bait, first of all, you place the bait down. You'd follow up maybe within 7 days, and then 2 weeks thereafter. But it's envisaged that you shouldn't go any further than 35 days in a riddance program. If you have to go over this 35 days, then you need to justify that by using an environmental risk assessment and looking at the IPM program, the proofing, the housekeeping, the stacking, your control methods. Are they suitable? Are they working? Have you got the root cause? And then you can do a long-term baiting, and that long-term baiting then might turn into a permanent baiting depending on the site conditions.
Right, very good. So on top of that, so this is obviously going to have major impacts on us as an industry, but also on our customers as well. How's that going to work?
There's a lot of positive impacts, and then there's a lot of ones that are going to cause a bit of challenge to the industry. So the positive is it's raising the bar of the industry. There's no doubt about it. The professional level of technicians, of companies, is the demand is for higher standards, which is always good. There's a focus on the customer relationship with the pest control operator as well. So that relationship has to be very tight. There are certain recommendations that a pest control operator will give, centered around proofing, housekeeping, stacking, and recommendations around how we're going to solve problems. That relationship needs to be working together in order to try and close out some of these or maintain the site in pest-free conditions, to maintain pest-free conditions. Some of the more challenging ones is if you're permanently baiting, the follow-up regime would be every 28 days. So that's going to come at a price because that's physical body going out, checking for rodent bodies, topping up baits, and doing more reviews of the site. The service level agreement between the customer and the PCO has to be agreed. It's risk based, so your follow-up regime could be every day, depending on the risks on the site. Then, of course, there's an administrative cost. There's more documentation. There's more records to be maintained as well on top of that.
Very good. So this is all coming in as well with the environmental factors you're talking, or it's being driven by that?
It's all centred around the environment, trying to protect the environment from release of residues into the environment.
And I also hear this term CREW a lot, and we're following a CREW code. Can you talk to me about that for a bit? Explain that to me.
So CREW is the Campaign for the Responsible Rodenticide Use. It's formed by mainly by the product authorization holders within the member states, so here in Ireland. It's also attended by certain stakeholders, the Department of Agriculture for one. It's chaired currently by Dermot Sheridan. And then the other parties such as Teagasc, the HSE, etc., they're all part of that, and they operate through the CREW task force. That body and its working groups drive the best practice and the standards and the product use, so the rules around the products and their use and their control within the environment. That's what that body does.
Right, so they're promoting sort of safe, effective use of rodenticides.
That's it. It's not to ban rodenticides, it's to use it and use it effectively and responsibly.
And I suppose as well, looking at alternative motives or alternative measures, what sort of things have we got that's an alternative to sort of our anticoagulant rodenticides that we use?
Sure. So we can go completely non-tox. There's products that we'd have, which would be radar, for example, which is the animal is humanely dispatched using gas. It's a CO2. The animal is succumbed by the gas within 90 seconds. That's one method that could be used internally. Another method, which would be a transitional method, which is autogate, and that is designed to only release the rodenticide to the environment if and when there's a rat present or a known infestation present. So thereby you're reducing the impact on the environment hugely by just having it there when the problem is there.
So how does the autogate work? How does it know that it's a rat? Is it not triggered by other things?
Sure, it's based on infrared beams, a series of infrared beams, and it's based on the animal's weight and length and breadth and height. So it will detect an animal, but it has to pass break those beams 3 times within 5 days, and that's what justifies it then is a problem. Other animals don't have that behaviour; they won't be going through the box in that sequence. So it's only opened by rats.
And the other thing people are talking to me a lot about is the Connect system.
Well, Rich, more and more customers are looking for an online pest solution. And Rentokil, of course, have been developing innovative products linked to the Internet of Things for years. And these digital pest control solutions, they offer 24/7 monitoring, real-time alert and control systems on the one platform, which is PestConnect. These include radar, autogate and rat riddance, the products that we've already talked about. The really good benefit of this is that all the data is readily available by the customers and their auditors on my Rentokil website.
Fantastic. Thanks ever so much, Colm. Thank you.